providing information while remaining fair and ethical, knowing where the line is. Throughout this course, we've emphasized that one of the most important responsibilities of an Arizona real estate professional is providing accurate information while remaining fair, ethical, and compliant with fair housing laws. Sometimes that means answering a client's questions. Other times, it means knowing when not to answer and instead directing the client to reliable public resources. Understanding that difference protects both the consumer and the licensee. Megan's Law and registered sex offenders. One of the most frequently asked questions involves registered sex offenders. The issue received national attention after the tragic 1994 murder of 7-year-old Megan Kenka in New Jersey by a convicted sex offender who lived across the street from her family. Following that tragedy, Congress passed what became commonly known as Megan's Law, requiring states to establish public notification systems for certain registered sex offenders. Today, every state maintains a public registry that allows citizens to search for registered sex offenders living in a particular area. What should a licensee do? Suppose a buyer asks, "Are there any registered sex offenders living in this neighborhood?" Should you answer? The safest practice is not to investigate or interpret sex offender information for your client. Instead, direct the buyer to the official state or local law enforcement registry where they can review the most current public information for themselves. Information contained in public registries changes over time, and law enforcement agencies, not real estate licensees, maintain those records. Providing the official source helps ensure consumers receive the most accurate and current information available. Questions about neighborhood demographics. Real estate professionals also receive questions about neighborhood demographics. For example, is this neighborhood diverse? What percentage of the community belongs to a particular ethnic group? Where do people of my religion usually live? Although clients may have good intentions when asking these questions, fair housing laws make these conversations extremely sensitive. One well-known case, Hannah versus Sipsey Klein Realtors, addressed whether a real estate broker had a fiduciary duty to provide information about the ethnic diversity of neighborhoods. The court concluded that a real estate professional does not have a fiduciary duty to provide demographic information or recommend neighborhoods based upon race or ethnicity. The better practice is to direct consumers to objective public resources, such as census information, school districts, municipal websites, or other publicly available data, allowing them to make their own decisions. Remember your fiduciary duties. Although licensees are not required to answer every question about a neighborhood, they continue to owe important fiduciary duties to their clients. These duties include loyalty, confidentiality, disclosure, obedience to lawful instructions, reasonable care and diligence, accounting. These duties require licensees to protect and promote their clients' interests while dealing honestly and fairly with all parties to the transaction. The value of professional ethics. Laws establish the minimum standards for professional conduct. Ethics encourage us to exceed those minimum standards. One reason the Realtor organization has remained respected for more than a century is its commitment to ethical professionalism through the Realtor Code of Ethics. A strong code of ethics helps establish professional standards, define acceptable conduct, promote accountability, strengthen consumer confidence, create a shared commitment to professionalism. When realtors join their local association, they voluntarily agree to follow these ethical standards because protecting the public is one of the profession's highest priorities. Real-world example. A buyer asks whether a particular neighborhood has many families from a specific ethnic background. Rather than answering based on personal observations, the agent explains, "I want to make sure you receive accurate and objective information. I can't recommend neighborhoods based on protected characteristics, but I'd be happy to direct you to public resources that may help you evaluate the community based on the factors that are important to you." That response protects both the consumer and the licensee while remaining fully consistent with fair housing principles. Broker tip. When clients ask questions involving crime, demographics, religion, ethnicity, or other protected characteristics, resist the temptation to answer from personal knowledge or opinion. Instead, direct them to reliable public resources so they can make their own informed decisions. Doing so helps avoid steering claims while providing objective information. Online discussion question. Why should licensees direct consumers to official sex offender registries instead of interpreting the information themselves? Law enforcement agencies maintain and update the official registries. Referring consumers to the official source helps ensure they receive accurate and current information while reducing liability for the licensee. Question. Why shouldn't a real estate professional recommend neighborhoods based on race, religion, or ethnicity? Answer. Doing so may create fair housing concerns or allegations of steering. Consumers should make their own housing decisions using objective public information. Question: how do the Realtor Code of Ethics and fiduciary duties work together? Answer: fiduciary duties require licensees to protect their clients' interests, while the Code of Ethics promotes professional conduct, honesty, fairness, and equal treatment for all consumers.